Hey guys, so let's jump right on in. We are ready to roll. Okay, so I have my 10 by 10 canvas here. This is a canvas panel you can pick up from anywhere. And let me go through my colors really quick. You have a little water running down. So these, I just put like my warm colors right here. Like I have my reds and my red oxide, and then I have my browns and my blues and purples on this side, and then I have some titanium white in the middle. Okay, you guys, and we're ready to go. I've already sprayed down my palette, and usually what I like to do first is I like to go ahead and get a very small brush, and I fill in my eyes first. I like to do that first because the eyes for me tend to get really lost in the process. It gets lost in the sauce, you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little bit of purple. I know it looks black right now, or blue, but get a little bit of purple, a little bit of black, and you want it to be a little more purple than black. And then I'm going to go in and kind of just fill in the dark spaces of her eyes. Get that all filled in. You know, you have a lower lid as well as an upper lid. But her upper lid, sorry, I had to concentrate for that one. And you see how we're just laying things in. Now the key, I know a lot of people get like confused, but the key to a realistic portrait is layers, right? There's no like secret sauce to it. It's pretty much taking your time and getting those layers in. I'm not going in with the straight black, you guys, okay? I'm going in with just a little bit of purple because we're just laying in this first base coat. That's what we're doing right now, okay? And I'm gonna do the same thing about right here, because she has like a really dark lid right there, but you want to still leave like a little bit of room for the crease. Now, for those of you guys that missed it, okay, if you happen to be over in our community over on Facebook at the Creative Girl of Color, Creative Girl of Color, over on Facebook, you would see that I posted the traceable, which is for this. In case you guys are not interested in drawing, I've already posted that in the group. Or if you happen to be on Patreon, hit me up on Patreon for just $1 a month. You can get all my traceables, and I walk you through a lot of different other steps as well as exclusive content, okay? Now, I'm going to get my brush wet, right? And I'm going to kind of smooth this out. Why? Because I don't want any harsh lines. And I'm trying to do the same thing down here, which I should have done before. Now, I'm going to actually get a little bit of a red oxide. You can't see that off to the side right there. But I'm going to get some red oxide, or you can use a brown. If you're using craft paint, you won't have red oxide. So get a brown color, like a mid-tone brown. I'm going to add a little bit of black to it. You could always add black to kind of lighten and darken your tones. Now, in the reference photo, her eyes are like really dark, meaning it's like a smoky kind of thing. Like she went with a smoky feel for her eyes, okay? So she has a smoky eye. And I'm going to go back into my dark purplish. And take that eyelid right into here. Because she has some sort of a cat eye. Now, don't worry if this looks crazy at first, because that's the way things go. Again, with acrylics, you're going to do a lot of layering. I know a lot of people get frustrated and they quit right in the middle, and then that's how things end up looking, I want to say like undone, maybe washed out, a little ashy. And especially depending on if you're using like a cheaper paint, like a craft paint. Craft paints, I really don't like craft paint, and I don't use it because of the fact that it leaves it like chalky. Paintings, when you do paintings with craft paint, they tend to look ashy when they're done, unless you add a varnish. Now, varnish is totally different. So anyway, I am smoothing out that eye. Now, I'm going to do the same thing right around here. I'm just going to do like a quick, taking that same brown to the town. And I'm going to do a quick little, like an outline type of thing. And I see I went in with the dark for the nostril. Because even though this is a side profile, you're still going to see a bit of her nostril. Right? And also, you guys, the key to realistic painting is also utilizing your reference photo. I'm just filling in her ear. This seems to be really in shadow in there. And I think a lot of it is in shadow because of the fact that the flowers are going to be covering her ear. So I think that's why a little bit of it is in shadow. I'm actually going to add some brown here. Now, if you're confused about what I mean about like the cheaper paints and the different type of paints, you can check out my video where I talk about pro paint versus student grade paint, and that's what I mean. Some of the student grade paints I really don't care for. I think they're good, especially if you're a beginner. You should definitely be utilizing the student grade paints, because it doesn't make sense to invest in anything like hardcore when you're just starting out and trying to learn the whole process. You know what I'm saying? Take that brown, go right up underneath her nose. And I'm actually going to go in with a little bit of a darker tone here for her lips. Now you can see I went in and I barely touched it lightly. Now remember, your first marks are going to look crazy, so don't give up, you guys. Don't give up. I know people, you get discouraged. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to just give up. I'm not even going to be bothered in even doing that. And then I'm going to take this outline. Now, I'm not outlining this like, because again, we're doing realistic painting. So I'm not outlining this as if it's like cartoonish or unrealistic painting. Going right up under that hairline right there. I am outlining this just to give me a darker value right at the edge of her face, which will be covered up with many other layers. I would definitely suggest that you guys do several layers when you're going through the process here. Several layers. I'm still going in with that dark brown, and I'm just filling in right up here underneath the nape and her neck, because this is going to be super dark underneath there, right? And I'm going to tend to jump around because that's what I do. I can't stay on one thing. Now you see, I shouldn't have went back there because now I didn't put a hole in my paint. So I'm going to leave that alone. Now I'm going to take some brown, same dark brown, and I'm just going to go fill in her eyebrow. Right? Now this is all going to be covered up. Now the key, usually I like to go dark to light, but the reason why I'm putting like a darker brown underneath the eye, because you're going to have like a shadow, you know, like a 5 o'clock shadow. But if you actually look between the eyelashes, you would have that shadow. Now, again, another key good tip, right, you guys? Another pro tip. I think I'm going to give you these pro tips, like, boom, every 10 minutes. So another pro tip is basically when you're doing like the eyebrows and stuff like that, when you go underneath that eyebrow, it's going to be like a shadowy kind of brown and stuff like that. And you have to get the little nuances and details. Remember, the more layers you add, the more little nuances you put in, right? The more little nuances that you put in and you add to your paint, the more realistic it'll be. I can't tell you guys. Now there's a shadow right here, so I'm trying to talk and paint at the same time, you guys, so bear with me. And I'm only going to take this right about there because we want to give the impression like her neck is actually turned, right? Like she's moving her head to the side and giving people a look, right? And then you put your little like rows and shadows in and stuff like that. But I'm not going to take that dark value any further down. Right? I'm just going to leave it right about here. Again, this is our first layer. We're just blocking things in. Now, back to what I was saying is, I can't tell you how many people, like, it's frustrating sometimes. I be feeling bad for you guys because I get a lot of people like, how do I make my paintings look like yours? Or how do I make my paintings look realistic? Or why my paintings don't look as rich as yours? Or what, you know, and I feel like sometimes I'll be hitting my head up against the wall because I'll be telling y'all that, you know, it's all about patience and layers and really putting in the work and not getting frustrated. If you don't have purple, you could actually add a little bit of blue and that will darken up your brown. But remember, don't add too much blue. And there I go adding more blue. You can always go back into the brown though, okay? So whatever. So sometimes it's frustrating because I try to tell y'all, I try to give advice as much as I can to help people out and let them know that if you want to do something realistic, you really have to take your time. You have to get into these layers. It's imperative that you have a reference photo, you guys, so that you can see these different nuances and yada, yada, yada. You know what I'm saying? And then voila. Now, even if you have to add your first base layer, like say you decide to start the painting, okay? And you sit down for however long you have. And I know a lot of guys, a lot of us are going to have a lot more time these days because some people may be out of work or some people, you know, got to be home with the kids because now the kids are home because of the whole crisis that's happening around the world. You know, with the coronavirus and stuff like that. So you're going to have a little more time. And I would say, hey, you start a painting and you get, you know, you only have it half an hour. You only have an hour before you have to put the kids to bed. You have to wash the kids. Or maybe you have to spend time with your spouse or whatever it is. Take that time, you know, spend 45 minutes, lay down your first layer, and then go and let it dry overnight or whatever, right? spend 45 minutes to an hour, lay down your first layer, let it dry, come back tomorrow and work on it periodically, you guys, and then you won't feel like if you do it in bite-sized things, you won't feel as bad about it. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, that was my little rant on it. Again, I'm doing this little dark outline again. And a lot of this is going to be covered up because this is just the initial stages. Another key is to use the brush that is going to give you the most bang for your buck. I'm going right up under the hairline. So you utilize the brush that's going to give you the that's going to do the job pretty much, right? So if you're working on a small portrait, like this is a 10 by 10 canvas, that's why I'm utilizing this smaller brush. And if I'm working on the small details, I'm going to go in with the smaller brush. But if you're working on a larger canvas, you want to go in with a larger brush. You know what I'm saying? Also, it's good to, if you're going to do realistic portraits, to study anatomy, do a little bit of basic studying of color theory if you're going to do portraits in color. I love color. I'm obsessed with color, and that's why I have studied color theory a lot. I think it was Picasso that said that, if people really knew how much work he put in to his paintings or whatever, his craft, people wouldn't really think he was as much of a genius as they really think he is. You know what I'm saying? So this stuff requires a lot of work, you guys. Put in the work. Don't be afraid to put in the work, because it shows. If you really take your time and put in that work. I'm just blending this stuff out because I don't want any hard lines. Remember, acrylics dry really quick and you don't want any hard lines. Okay? Now, why did I put dark under there? I put dark under there because her hairline, once we fill his hair, and you'll see what I'm saying, her hair actually goes right up over her forehead. So these are some of the other things that you guys got to think about when you're actually doing a portrait. I think a lot of times people teach stuff or do things, and I don't think they really explain all of those things. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't really explain that, hey, I know when I first started painting and I was looking for tutorials. And by the way, this would be a good time to go ahead and subscribe to your girl. Subscribe, hit that like button, give a girl a thumbs up, share it to a playlist, put it in a playlist, pause it, come back. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going to take our time with this. We're really going to get into the nuances and details. Remember that anything worth having is not going to be fast. I'm telling you that right now. So that's why I'm really going to take my time with this series, you guys. Usually I'm like, let me go ahead and rush through this. Let me do a time lapse for them or something like that. Yada, yada, yada. And because they're not really watching it anyway, But no, I know it's a few and far between that's going to actually watch the full, maybe hour-long tutorial. I'm going to actually go in with a red oxide, yellow ochre, and I'm going to get a little bit of naphthol crimson, naphthol red, sorry. I'm going to get more red yellow ochre. So, yeah, when I thought about doing this series, because I know you guys enjoy the hair tutorials and stuff, and I thought this would be a good way to incorporate the portraiture as well as the hair tutorials. You feel what I'm saying? And I just know like that sort of thing could be frustrating, and I know people are like, well, I want things to be quick. I want to just learn it overnight. I just want to yada yada yada. Nobody learns anything overnight, you guys. Like some of these things take years and years and years. Like even though I'm like in my maybe 4th year of kind of learning this stuff and really doing my thing with it, I'm adding a little bit of purple, a little bit of burnt umber. I'm going back in with that stuff. A little bit of blue because the blue will darken it up. I'm going to go right up under the neck right here, right? Because that's the back of the neck. So like I was saying, even with my rant here, like I said, nobody learns nothing overnight. Like, I'm still learning, even though, you know, I consider myself to be pretty decent in the field of portraiture. I'm still learning. I'm still, sorry, you guys. I'm still learning, still trying to get my life together. You know what I'm saying? So, keep a rag with you and wash your brush out also in between colors. Another thing, wait, sorry, let me finish the thought. Okay, so I'm still learning. Everybody's still learning. Everybody's still, you know, trying to figure things out. And nobody, you know, art is a lifetime. Ooh, look at that red, you guys. It's too much red. We definitely don't want no a bunch of red in her skin tone because she's not Caucasian, right? So we don't want a bunch of red in her skin tone. You could do like a brown red, maybe, yeah. I know people want to learn things overnight or whatever, but nah, you can't do that. You got to actually just practice and, you know, get your practice in and stuff like that. And then you'll be, I'm always thinking of ways to improve. Like, I'm never content. Again, art is like I was saying, art is a lifetime process. And I'm never just like, oh, boom, wow, I got it, I got this. Even your most favorite artists, they know that, no, I don't have this. I don't know what I'm doing fully. You know, I still need to get my life together. It's still things I need to figure out and stuff like that. Even they know it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's just sitting around like, oh, I got this. So anyway, yeah, so nobody's just sitting around like, oh, I got this. And if you are sitting around saying I got this, then you really don't have this. The artists that be like, oh, I got this, and I'm the bomb.com, those are the artists that really don't have it together. And 9 times out of 10, they tend to be really douchey. It's nothing worse than meeting like your art hero and you realize they're a freaking asshole. And you're like, oh, hell no. Now, you probably asking, so why is she putting in all those colors? What's going on? Okay, like I said, I'm blending this out because I want those two seams to go seamlessly together. And you can see I kind of put a hole right there, but that's okay. I'll come back in and cover it up. Now, why am I doing that? I did that because skin tones, remember, skin tones, if you happen to have this reference photo, skin tones are not just one color. You know what I'm saying? It's a plethora of different things going on when you're dealing with skin tones, you guys. Right? It's a plethora of different things going on when you're dealing with skin tones. It's not just one thing. It never is, you know. I mean, eating, like, if you do an experiment, go ahead and look at yourself in the mirror. Then you'll see that your skin is not just one color. Like, your neck may be totally different color than your face. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, underneath your eyes are going to be darker than, you know, your cheeks. So you got to think about that, and then think about the anatomy of whatever it is you're doing. You feel what I'm saying? Let's see. I'm going to mix up a little bit of gray. And I don't like to just do gray, which is black and white. I like to add purples and blues in my grays, because just plain old gray is boring. Okay? That's just the way it is. It's boring. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just mixing up blue, purple, black, and white, and that's giving me my gray. See that? It's giving me gray. Okay, so I'm going to fill in her top. Well, her little spaghetti strap, right? That seems to be showing right there. And I put it in like a mid-tone gray because I'm still going to have to go back in with highlights. All right. So again, you know, you can do this in sections if you get frustrated quickly, or you're not able to do it all at once, you know. But definitely save this in your playlist so you can come back to it, you guys, and keep going. I promise you I won't lead you down the wrong way. Now, as far as the skin tones go, I'm using, like I said, a plethora of different colors. And this, you can translate anything that I'm doing right here onto any skin tone. I just happen to be doing a beautiful melanin queen. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm actually going to take this gray, since I already have it on my palette and I don't want it to dry out. And I am going to fill in a little bit of my flower. You see how I jump around? I'm going to fill in my flowers. He has flowers right here, just in case you can't tell. And that gray is a little bit, and the flowers are like white. But remember, just because in painting, just because something looks white doesn't mean that it actually is white. It just means that it looks white, but you can't really do that. I wouldn't recommend that you just do, you know, straight white out of the tube and slap it on your painting, because it'll look too flat and stark. You need to have those shadows and different variations of stuff. Okay, you guys? So that's pretty much what I recommend. And I'm just kind of loosely blocking this stuff in. I'm not even getting too wild with it. And I'm going to do the same thing here, because she has another white flower right here. Another white flower right there. So I'm just going to put it in with the grays. Again, you got to go on top with several different tones. And this goes for skin tones or whatever you're doing. No matter what you're doing, you should definitely be going in with those different variations in tone. Now, because flowers are white, they're going to pick up kind of the colors that's around it. So in this particular reference photo, she happens to be outside. So we're going to do an outside sky around her. And because she's outside, it's going to pick up those colors. So she has a lot of greens, blues, and stuff that's going to reflect off of the flower. So we've already blocked that in. I'm going in with an even lighter gray, almost white. And I'm actually going to do like a light blue. You could actually do a light blue because a light blue, you guys, believe it or not, is almost, it reads as a gray. Even though it's a light blue. It reads as gray. Right? And don't worry if you mess things up or it's not exactly what you want. Because remember, the good thing about acrylics is you can always go back on top. And I'm actually going to go in with this darker gray because... and put that crease back in there since it is a flower, see? Okay. So we doing everything today, you guys. We doing hair. I'm showing you guys how to do the whole process as if I was here by myself doing a whole full realistic skin tone type of thing going on. And I'm gonna try to keep it with under an hour, okay, you guys? Don't panic. If not, I will try to come back. I will do a part 2 in the following week if we're not able to keep it with under an hour. I'm gonna spray my palette because my palette is drying up because of the lights. Now I'm taking that brown kind of caramel color, yellow ochre again, a little bit of Nathol red, yada yada yada. And I'm going to put some of it here, right underneath her lip. Now, if you have a hard time spreading acrylics, again, layers will take care of everything. So you can think about that. Remember, layers save lives. Okay? So if you do... Now, I'm doing it darker here because this is the side of her face. And this is where her cheekbone is, right? I'm going right in here. Watch her ear, though, so that you don't take this color inside the ear. Already, I have managed to change my color. Right? And she's starting to come together, you guys. She's starting to come together. Now, I've wiped off my brush. Alright, you guys. So, what was I saying just a minute ago? Alright, I'm going to go in with the even darker color. But not as dark as her neck, but almost as dark. Now, this is where, color theory, knowing your color theory will definitely help you out in this situation. If you have a hard time kind of figuring things out. Practice your color theory. And I'm going to sweep that color. I'm going to add a little bit of red to it just to warm it up and differentiate between I need to differentiate between her neck and I'm wiping off my brush and I'm washing out my brush in between, you guys. So you want to differentiate between her neck and the bottom of her chin. Feel what I'm saying? And again, don't forget to soften out. You want to blend out and blend that out just a little bit. Okay? I'm blending that out because we want this to be soft. And this is where that dark value that we put around her neck comes in handy. Because now you start to see the separation between the two. See? Now, the neck is pretty much ready for another layer. You see that? Boom, it's starting to come together. And take that same thing right here and put a little bit of dark right there. And she's a really light caramel color. Again, I wouldn't recommend that you guys use too much white. You don't want to really use too much white in African American skin tones, Latina, whatever. Like once you start to get into like Caucasian, Asian, that's when you can start using a lot of whites and stuff like that. Unless, I would say unless in some cases, if the person is I want to say really light, like really high yellow type of thing. That's what black people call high yellow. See, I'm putting in a whole nother different value right here. This is a light value, because now we're starting getting towards the sun, right? And you want to highlight that. You want to make it seem like there is sun and sunny skies and beautiful things hitting off of her. Her what's her name type of thing. So yeah, once you get into the Latina, like skin tones and stuff like that, yeah, you're not gonna be doing. I added a little bit of reddish brown down to the bottom there, and I'm gonna do the same thing here. Now, what I was saying in some cases, right? You can add a lot of weight. Like my son is really light skin, really light, really light, right? So since he's really light, I'm actually gonna go back in and add a little brown there, because I actually need that reddish brown. My son is very light, and since he's very light, because his father's half Puerto Rican, right? And there we go. Don't get precious with it. Just go in with a color. You can always go back on top. But anyway, since my son, his father's like half Puerto Rican, he's kind of really light and bright. And since he's light and bright, when I did his portrait, I had to actually add quite a lot of white to him. So that's the only time I would say, go ahead and add some white. Now, remember what I said about, well, maybe I didn't say, but when you do a portrait also, you should think about your brush strokes. If the cheek is going this way, your brush stroke should be going the same way. If you have an eyeball that's round, your brush should be going in a round circular motion. You feel what I'm saying? Okay? Okay, so let's move on to the hair. I want to get that blocked in. Again, this is the block in stage, you guys. Blah, 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 blah. What do I need? I need to get a different brush, you guys. That's what I need. So I'm gonna get my little cat's tongue beauty over here. Oh, okay. Actually, let me get a smaller one. I have another one right here. Get it wet. And I'm gonna go in and do her hair. Now, because her hair is really dark, I mean it looks like brownish blonde. It has really brown, blondish type tips at the ends. A lot of people can get confused and be like, okay, I'm going to do the whole hair like that. But again, hair is similar to skin tone. Hair is going to have its levels to this. You know what I'm saying? So hair is going to have the different levels. You want to go darker at the roots, and then you simultaneously continue to get lighter, like a ball. So you dark brown, lighter brown, and then at the tips you can go like another lighter color up. But anyway, I'm gonna show you that right now. I'm gonna get a little bit of the I'm actually gonna get a little bit of black. I'm gonna get a little bit of black, a little bit of brown, red, and red oxide. If you don't have red oxide, use burnt umber, or just use your red if you're using the primary colors. Now, right under here, you see how this looks really dark, right? Yeah, and I'm actually gonna take that all the way there. Now watch your flowers so you don't have to trace those back in again. And the good thing about this brush is that I can actually, and remember what I said before, well, if you haven't seen my video, that's like the most popular video I've ever done on this channel. Which is how to do an afro. Remember, I tell you, tap, 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 and get your life, okay? That's what I usually like to tell people. Tap, 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 and get your life. Okay? So you want to tap and continuously, you want to keep moving. Sorry, you guys, I keep hitting the what's the name? I rearranged my studio, so everything is discombobulated. Alright? So I'm in a new position right now. I mean, you could even go as far as to add black if you wanted to. Right up underneath here if you wanted to. What was I saying about hair? I was saying something about hair. Oh, I was just trying to say that, you know, one of my most popular videos on here is where I talk about, you know, the hair and stuff like that. Alright? Talk about this hair. Get this hair together. Right? Get it together. Get your life. Get your life. I'm trying to avoid these flowers so I don't kind of jack them up. Uh-oh. See, I went right into it. So that's the tricky part is now once you get really good, right? Once you get really good with now I'm just tapping in. Once you get really good with painting and drawing, which I highly If you know me, you know I highly recommend that you practice drawing. Once you get really, really good with this, right, then you can go in and it doesn't matter if you end up covering up your flowers because you know how to draw them back in. That's the beauty. The beauty. All right. That's the beauty. All right, now I'm going into a lighter brown. And you want to do this simultaneously, you guys. I'm going into a lighter brown because that's my business, okay? Because that's my business. Because that's what I want to do. Now let's stop. Ooh, that's red. Okay, so I'm going into a lighter brown. Because I want to give the hair kind of dimension. You want to give it the illusion like it's not like a flat rug here, okay? Her hair has meaning, okay, you guys? It has meaning. You can't play with the hair. All right, let me move down a little bit so you can see the hair part. What was I saying? Now I'm going into a lighter brown. Lighter, lighter, lighter. Because now we're heading to the top here. Started at the bottom, now I'm here. Oh. Yeah. You know, I'll be wanting to sing that. I'll be wanting to bust out in song. I hate the fact that I can't really listen to music when I'm doing these tutorials. What did I just do right there? Okay, let me just go over that because I don't know what's going on. Okay? How about that? How about that? Meet me outside. How about that? How about that? Alright? And again, this is just a blocking in stage. So you really don't... I just actually got some white in there. I'm going in with the red, yellow oxide. Now the lighter you want your hair, the more yellow oxide and white you can add to it. But don't add too much white, okay, you guys? Because remember, this is a Afro-Latina, my gal right here. So yeah, we don't need you to be adding too much white, okay? We don't need that, my gal, okay? So this brush is absolutely great, right? Because I like the fact that I could do the little squiggles. Get the squiggles together. I'm going into my black because I want to get black right here. I need this to be super dark underneath there because that's our hairline, okay? So we need that to kind of get its life together. And we're going to add black to that, okay? That's what we're going to do. We need that illusion, you guys, okay? And look how fast that came together. Like, voila, I mean. Alright. Add a little black right up underneath here. Right in here. And yeah. Look how beautiful that looks, you guys. It looks gorgeous. But again, some people, right, would just be like, oh, I'm going to stop right here and I'm not going to do any more. and you know, yada yada yada, and that's it. And then be walking around like wondering, like I've seen people paint things and it looks just like this, right? Meaning, I'm gonna leave the hair alone for now. I'm gonna let it dry and do its thing, and then I'm gonna go back on top with another layer. Um, I've actually seen paintings where people's paint have looked just like this, patchy, dried up. It looks absolutely weird. It looks weird, okay? And you can tell that either they're not really familiar with how to do portraits or how to deal with paint. Let's just say that. They're not familiar with color theory and they don't understand how to layer. Now, these are acrylics. Acrylics, you can do super layering really quick, really great, and not have any issues. Now, with oils, you know, you can put down 1 or 2 layers and it's like boom, it's mad real. But with acrylics, you really have to take your time and go in and do your thing. Okay? You really have got to take your time. Also, in between, once you get to a certain point in your painting, you guys, you should definitely change out your water because dirty water can mud up your colors. I'm switching over to a flat brush. I'm actually trying out this new flat brush by Artist Loft Sereno. And I'm actually liking it right now. So anyway, I'm going into, change out. Try to do your best to kind of change out your colors. I mean, change out your water. Right, guys? Really change that water out. Just in case you're looking for the colors I'm using, I'm going back in with this dark brown because this has to be in shadow, you guys. This right here is in shadow. Why is it in shadow? It's a pop quiz. Why is it in shadow? I'm going to go right up here. It actually goes right up above. Right up above her, what's the name? Her cheekbone. Okay, I'm going to wipe it off my brush. I'm wiping it off on the side in a rag. Okay, so why is it in shadow, you guys? Did we think about that really quick? It's in shadow because that is where the side of her face is. And since her face is kind of turned, the flowers and the angle of her face is casting a shadow. So that's why that's why everything is in shadow. All right, now I'm going to add highlights to her cheekbones. How do I do that? Yellow ochre. It already has some reds and pinks and yada yada. I'm actually going to add a little bit of magenta to that. A little bit of white. She's kind of like a light caramel brown. So I'm actually going to take the liberty to add white because it's going right here. Right? It's going right here. And you can see my brush is still going in the same direction. Of her face. You see that? I'm still taking it in the same direction. And at the same time, wiping off my brush, blending those two seams together. Getting his life together. But you don't want to do it too much because then you'll get that rough kind of canvasy looking thing. Okay, we don't want that because that'd be weird. I'm gonna put a little bit of this right up. Ooh. So apparently I shouldn't be talking and painting. Put a little bit of this right up under her nose. I'm gonna put that underneath her nose, and I'm gonna put it around her nose. And why am I doing that? Because she's gonna have shadow underneath, right? She's gonna have shadow right there to kind of indicate that her mouth is moving downward, right? Now remember, you're in the ugly stage right now, so she's gonna look quite hideous. I'm gonna put a little bit of this highlight right here, because this is her chin, and we want to give the illusion like her chin is poking out, right? Sorry, I'm cleaning off my, what's the name? Cleaning things off. And it's still not dry. That's why it's giving me a hard time. Okay, so I'm going to leave it. So anyway, I want the illusion. Let me see. The illusion. I'm adding more magenta because this is more like a pinky. She has like a pinky red right up here where her forehead is. It's like a pinky reddish thing right here. Right up under here. And it goes right here. Actually, this whole thing. Yeah, so remember that it's going to look crazy before it looks great. So don't get frustrated or start feeling some type of way. And if you start to feel yourself getting frustrated, definitely don't be afraid to take a break. Take a little break. Putting a little bit of dark right there, because if you feel your eyes on the side, you always have that little, I don't even know how to explain it, like an indent. That's the only way I can kind of explain it. You always have that little bit of dark. Right there. You always had a little bit of dark. Yeah, a little bit of red right there. Well, magenta, really. That's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to do a little magenta right here on her nose. And really, that's not even the right color. But you know what? I'm not panicking. You know why? Because, hey. See, now I went back in with the lighter color. I'm not panicking because you can always fix things with acrylics. Things don't have to be perfect. Now remember, a nose is not a nose is not a nose. Meaning, a nose has these different contours to it as well. Don't just go in and think I'm adding like a lot of white and yellow ochre to the top of her nose. Which is gonna help me later. Promise you. It's gonna help us out later. It's gonna help us out later. Anyway, yeah, the nose has all these little nuances, you guys. Just like every other part of your body. The nose is not just the nose. You feel what I'm saying? Ow. Ow. Yow. Now I'm going in with like a pinky. And I'm still going. I'm gonna add a little white. Yeah, the nose, I'm adding white right there. You know, your little nostril, that needs to be white also. I mean, it needs to have a little white added into it. Just feathering this stuff out. Feathering it out, baby. Feathering it out, baby. All right. The nose. I'm still going back into that light color, which is yellow ochre, magenta, and all the other browns that go into it, burnt sienna, red oxide, burnt umber, stuff like that. I'm adding that really light color right here. Because remember, the top of your eyelid is really, it's like your brow bone, really. So that's going to protrude out, right? Then I'm going into a darker color right here. Darker, darker, darker. Now I'm going into a darker, even darker color, because I still got to fill in this really dark color like right here, because her hair is still kind of in shadow right here. So you can put a dark brown to indicate shadow. That's how we do that, right? That is how we do that. This would be a good time for you guys, like, to let me know. Taking this shadow right here, down the middle of her face. If you guys are still watching, I would love to know we are at the hour mark, I think. So hopefully, if you guys are still watching, or you happen to be watching at this point, leave me a comment and say, hey, yes, I was watching at the hour mark. That way I know that you guys are watching. And I also want you to comment and just give me ideas. Let me know if you're enjoying this sort of stuff. I need to know that as well. I took a little bit of like that brown kind of color to kind of transition me right there. And I need to actually go back in with a darker color right underneath here. I still feel like that's not dark enough. That's what I feel. And remember, the more shadow, the more of an illusion you will give people thinking, oh, okay, that is in shadow. You feel what I'm saying? I'm getting my black. And I'm going to pull that black right there. I actually feel like I shouldn't have pulled it so far down. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys are still watching. And I want to know if you like these longer videos where I explain all the little nuances. I'm going in with a little black here and there just to kind of fill things in and give it some texture and movement. Yeah, I need to know that because that way I know, hey, I'm doing a good job and you guys are enjoying these long type of videos. You feel what I'm saying? And she's coming together. And this is just our first layer, you guys. First layer. Alright, I'm washing off my brush. I'm gonna switch over to a smaller brush because I need to get these little like details and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm going in with a little bit of a lighter version right here. Right there. Right there, right there. Okay? And I kind of lost my eyebrow. I lost my eyebrows. Okay? Okay? Alright. She lost her eyebrows, peeps. Alright, I'm gonna do like a light pink for her lips. So to do a light, I'm gonna do like a fleshy light tone pink for her lips. So I'm gonna add a lot of yellow ochre, burnt sienna, and yeah. And we're gonna pop that lip in. That thin ass lip. the the thin old lips. Okay. So anyway, I kind of went too far with that. So let's pull that back, pull it back. Pull it back. And if you still feel like anytime you feel like you kind of lost your mojo or you can't find the lips, remember that the lips lips are, if you're doing lips in profile, it's like a heart. So basically trace a heart. You can really see it, right? I know you probably think about it but think about it. Do it like a heart. Because that's what it is. A heart, a heart, a heart. I'm taking that dark value right up under here. in her eye really quick. It's looking good. It's looking good. It's looking good. It's looking good. Really good, really good. Okay, so I think that's on a good note to kind of end things. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to break these up into bite-sized pieces for you guys. So it's not too much and too overwhelming. I think an hour is long enough to kind of get the basics down. We were already laid down pretty much our nice. I actually like this whole thing. You could actually do the whole thing white, or you can put these flowers whatever way you want. If you want access to the reference photo again and all the other materials, check me out on patreon.com/creativegirlofcolor, and you can have access to the traceable as the reference photo. And yeah, well, the reference photo you can get for free in the group, but the traceable you would have to go to my Patreon for just $1 a month, and you can support your girl, right? Because we know we would love your supports over here, you guys. So anyway, I'm gonna basically end it here, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful tutorial. I think it's turning out really beautiful and gorgeous. I would love to see if you guys actually attempted this online, because I'm doing this for you guys. So give a girl a thumbs up. Hit me up on Instagram under the hashtag Creative Girls of Color so I can see your progress. And yeah, so we're gonna have a part 2 probably next week, and we'll finish this girl off, and we'll do another layer, and we'll just take our time with this project, you guys. Okay, so I love you guys so much as usual, and you know what it is. I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.